Hey everyone, so welcome back to part two of episode three. I know we are doing this different parts because of the YouTube restrictions, of course. So sorry for the inconvenience. So in case you guys were wondering where's part two, follow the link below. We're gonna be talking as we discussed in our first part. We're gonna be discussing about geopolitics and latest news. So, Ryder, so I guess of course please keep in mind all this information that we put out there is just our own opinion. It's not financial advice, just our opinion, our speculation, and
Mhm.
always do your own research
Yeah,
because
definitely.
we do our own research, and we would really love if you guys do your own research as well because we don't want to put you guys on the wrong track. Okay, so what are we gonna be talking about today? Right now is actually about geopolitics, guys. So recently, I know maybe you guys are seeing about the Fed's hiking rates and the US dollar becoming king, right, Earl? You must be loving that, right? Or
Yeah.
no?
Yeah, right now,
Yeah.
well, I wouldn't really say I'm loving it because, it's the
You're not
US
loving
dollar.
it?
It's just e- everything's just going down, and it's kind of hurting.
Everything's going, I know.
It's hurting like all our assets out there. So right now, it's just USD's king. It's hurting the other currencies. It's hurting equities.
Exactly,
Like
exactly.
you,
So that's where the geopolitics come into place because US, the Fed chair, I mean, Papa Powell is pretty much increasing the rates like there. She just wants to like we are king and we're gonna stay king. We don't care about UK, we don't care about the euro and any other country. And what's funny is that in this article that I just read, like, I mean, it could be coming back to hurt them back because from what I'm seeing is like I'm expecting to see maybe a US dollar collapse because I don't know if you agree with that, Earl, but I'm kind of seeing there could be a collapse because if the US dollar keeps on going higher and higher and higher, from what my perspective, what I'm seeing is that every other country will have to buy US dollars in order to do their global trades, right?
yeah, that's
So
correct.
to do because US dollars is a reserve currency, they have to do global trades and they need US dollars. So from what I'm seeing is that it's gonna come to a point where those countries that their currencies are hurting so badly that they're gonna come to a point they're gonna say that we are not going to use the US dollar for global exports anymore, global imports and exports. So if it's not gonna use the US dollar currency for trading, global trading, what there's gonna be a huge supply of US dollar in the market as well. There's going to be a huge crash because if like two-thirds of the globe gets rid of the US dollar as a reserve currency for trade, what how it could create a big global catastrophe. Like it's from what I'm seeing is that there's going to be nobody's going to be using the US dollar and the US dollar's demand is going to be dropped so low that it's just going to crash. And from what I'm seeing is that they might switch to that's where I'm coming to the next article of the BRICS. So if you look at the next article of the BRICS is like it's gonna talking about a new reserve currency. So I guess some of you guys probably know about the new world order as well. So probably there's something that you guys already think about as well. So I'm kind of thinking that the BRICS could really give a big hit to the US dollar. Euro is already the articles already this is on the RT guys, but euro they're already saying the US dollar and the euro, but then again, euro is already hit. So from what I'm seeing, Earl, is that there could be a US dollar collapse in the coming future. I don't know if you saw that. I think I sent you that article, right? Of Robert Kiyosaki saying the US dollar could crash in
Hmm.
like 4 months time. What do you what do you think about this?
Yeah, so
I
like
don't
right now, I mean, I kind of agree with you, in a way, but I think we also have to keep in mind that even though the US dollar right now is like increasing, so in a way it's like the imports will be cheaper since the dollar would be a lot stronger, but when we export, it's like, okay, who's willing to buy our own products and
yeah,
even our own services? So at that point, it's like, okay, like we need more. Let's say, we'll use like the yuan. We need more yuan in order to convert to like one US dollar. So that's like a
yeah,
huge problem. So they need to,
yeah,
of course, they need to restabilize the affordability of the US dollar for other countries. And but at the same time, it's like, again, to add to your case, it's like, if you're a foreign country, why would I want to convert my own domestic foreign
Current.
currency
Mm-hmm.
for the US dollar when we have BRICS. It's like, okay, we have, BRICS that's trying to help us and trying to make
Yeah,
their own global world reserve currency. So,
exactly. And the other
yeah.
thing, the other thing is that imagine the businesses who have to do trade and
Yeah.
how much of borrowing they have to do from the banks just
hmm
because the US dollar is so high, they will have to take a huge amount of loan from their own currency just to convert it to US dollar. And if the US dollar keeps going up, their loan, like I mean the currencies, it's the amount of money that's they are going to be on debt. It's like creating so much chaos within the whole world. That's where I'm seeing where it's gonna switch to a point where nobody wants to use the US dollar anymore.
hmm
That's
But
what I'm
but
seeing.
but don't you
Uh-huh.
also think like they can also like coincide? Because there's like I remember like reading like an article way back where the U.S. like they are admitting that there can be more than one global reserve currency. So I think that's when they were hinting that the yuan could be the next
Oh,
one.
really?
Yeah,
Oh.
so like the next one, but now if it's like BRICS, then what if like they're just trying to fight for power where the US, you know how the US is, they really
Yeah,
want power
they
now.
love,
So
yes.
what if they keep their USD as the global reserve currency, and then now you have the BRICS world reserve currency, and then now it's beginning to clash. It's like, okay, like in order for you to,
So
get
it's like,
our products, you
mhm.
have to convert it and all that. So do you think that's a possibility, or will it just be one whole global reserve again?
Well, see that if it's gonna be a whole global reserve, that would depend on how many countries will be willing to use the BRICS currency as a global reserve, right?
hmm
I mean, every country is already using the US dollar as a global reserve. But if you look at the BRICS is just coming up new, and a lot of countries are already having some trouble, right? The countries are mostly having some trouble with the economy anyway. So they're gonna fall on to the BRICS idea, and most trades already happen with China. And if China is already with the BRICS, and China says, "Hey, we're coming up with a new currency. You want to trade with us? Go ahead. We want you to use this new reserve currency that our committee created. If you want to do a trade, we don't want to take we don't want to take US dollar because it costs us too much,
hmm
and it also costs you too much to buy US dollar just to pay us. So
hmm
why are you gonna put your own country's bank currency in much more stress when you can just buy a cheaper currency, which is like the BRICS that he created,
hmm
and then and I'm pretty sure if you take African nations, they would definitely go for it,
Oh
right? It's
yeah,
a new
for sure,
currency,
for
yeah.
sure.
So that's like a 1 billion kind. I mean, $1 billion market pretty much over there,
hmm
right?
Especially with
So
like all the resources and whatnot. Like for sure, it's like
exactly,
by all
Eh,
means,
yeah.
use our
Those
bricks and
Af
then we'll
exactly those
transact with you guys.
African nations will just take it,
hmm
and that's gonna be a big hit. And then from I don't know, I'm just thinking, but I could be wrong.
hmm
If Europe goes into severe catastrophe in the coming by next year,
hmm
I could be wrong, but I I don't know. But I'm just saying, putting out that maybe Europe will be joined the BRICS as well,
Yeah,
because EU is
that.
pretty much that
mhm.
would be huge. That
That'll
would
be
be
that'll be like a huge interesting case because now all the allies they're kind of wondering like, hey, wait a second, if U.S. can't help us, then they're gonna
yeah,
have to go with like the next powerful country, right?
exactly. And I mean, Germany is already ruined. That Nordstrom got well. You probably heard about the news that
Yeah,
recent
the
new recent talk about
Nord Streams.
Nordstrom pipe. I mean Nordstrom
Mm-hmm.
pipes got sabotaged. Well,
Mm-hmm.
US is pretty much accusing Russia. Russia's accusing US. Both are pretty much, well, at the end of the day, pretty sure someone did it. So from my point of view, I don't see Russia doing it because Russia can pretty much cut off the taps. They can just stop the taps. They don't need to go into the ocean and underneath and just sabotage the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and from there, it cost Germany to print 200, I mean, borrow money, euros, just to supply, just to may help the gas, I mean, the businesses and the people. So from what I'm thinking is like they're putting Europe on like life support pretty much. They're bringing their point like we will agree to anything. Give us anything, we will agree to it. It's like that. So I don't know if Europe will will go on with BRICS,
Hmm.
but maybe not because they're part of NATO. And that's the funny part, because this recently I saw the news where
Ukraine's
Ukraine wanted to
also trying
join
to
NATO,
join. Yeah.
but then
Hmm.
again, US was saying,
It's
oh,
like it's like
this is not the time to discuss about NATO application.
exactly.
So you are willing to help NATO with all this, but you're not willing to do a quick procedure of accepting them as NATO. So what, you want to have a war with Russia? Is that the
Hmm.
thing, like
Yeah.
geopolitical wise? Like what is the what are you doing? You're just creating a conflict of like, like it's like where you have a family member who wants to like be nice to you, but
Hmm.
also like the nice family member also wants you to be in trouble as well.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like they don't want to be. So that's where I'm seeing a lot of with the Ukraine, and there's all this geopolitic part. And then comes the next part about the Philippines. I mean,
Hmm.
Asia, India, we already know India's already buying oil and China's already buying from Russia. But Philippines is a big story because we have the Taiwan crisis, right, with
Yeah.
China and
Yeah.
US. And then Philippines is known to be the puppy of the Asia for US. Philippines is always the base, right? They always, even during World War II, US was Philippines was the base for the US Army, and I mean the US Navy. So US military pretty much. So right now, Marcos, like the new president of Philippines, he's exploring ideas of going to Russia to buy oil. So you remember how on the first part we were talking about OPEC cuts,
Hmm.
and I was
Yeah.
saying that Asia is kind of trying to buy oil from Russia.
Hmm.
So this is where I'm coming. This is what I'm pointing out to. So them buying oil from, if Philippines is going to buy oil from Russia, how many more countries are willing to go there to that direction? Because OPEC oil is so expensive. Why don't we buy cheap oil from Russia? If they can buy cheap oil from Russia, no anyone would. That's what Marcos said. Inflate Philippines inflation is too high. They want to switch to buy cheap oil. So anyone would say, any country would be willing to do that. I'm pretty sure. Like most of the countries, like Bangladesh, Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam, they would all do it. Even Japan is buying fuel from Russia.
Hmm.
So so that's where I'm thinking. But if if Philippines goes on to buy oil from Russia, then Singapore is going to have, well, and if other countries goes on to buy some stuff, it's like there's a lot of shipping routes also that's going to be affected, especially like Singapore might get affected. So we don't know how it's going to be, because if all this time the Philippines has been buying oil from Dubai, so the oil tankers must go through Singapore, which is going to be which is going to be some money for Singapore. So Singapore's economy pretty much thrives on that trade route right there. So that could be a hit for Singapore. And the next thing I just saw this like 5 hours ago, was the India news. India is trying to lure factories from China. What is this new story coming out? This is quite interesting. I don't know. I'm still trying to read about it, but this is quite interesting. It's because
Yeah, this is interesting
China,
because
yeah, it's
if India is trying to lure all the factories from China, then that means,
what is
like
China gonna
like
do?
yeah, like wouldn't their economy like crash then? Is this also the
It
collapse of
could.
China or?
Well, I don't know, but see, what is this part of the 2030 agenda? That's what I'm thinking about. Like, is
Mhm.
China going to go zero? Remember how China's climate action,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So, if China has a climate action and India is learning all these kind of factories from China,
Hmm.
so what is that agenda? Like, is there a switch between happening? So I'm going to read up more on this one, how, because this just came up, so it's going to be interesting to see. And another one is about the Brazil's election. That's also another one that is going to be very interesting to watch, is because how will the leadership change over there going to be affecting the BRICS? So this is going to be something to watch geopolitics wise. And then Brazil's election as well, is there going to be like different, because Bolsonaro right now is favor of all this, he's pretty much like Trump, right?
Hmm.
He's a good friend with Putin, but then again comes all the other guys, right? So the other guy comes and we don't know what his foreign policy is. So it's gonna be interesting to watch. So these are the news that I'm watching these days with geopolitics. So But this China and India factory part is gonna be a really interesting part because of climate change. That's what I'm seeing.
Yep, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. So that's all I have, bro. But I don't know if you have any idea, any opinions to put out there, or
Yeah, hey
not
man,
really.
you know what? You're the expert of the whole geopolitics, so I'm
Hey, I
relying
do
on
my
you.
best.
Yeah, hey, you know what, guys? Like, we appreciate Jude, and again, thank you, Jude, for telling us all of this. I'm learning as well as for those of you who are new. Like, I'm learning as well, so I'm learning a lot from Jude. But yeah, guys,
Yeah.
that is our episode for on
Well, that.
YouTube for episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
So again,
Yeah.
make sure, guys, to follow us on. Make sure to follow us on here on Twitter. It will help us a lot.
Yep.
BBA Podcast. That's our Twitter handle. And of course, on YouTube, make sure to subscribe on
Yeah.
there as well. And yeah,
Like and comment too. Yep. Like and comment, and also
yeah,
yeah, listen to Spotify too. Don't forget that
yeah,
Spotify and
definitely,
Anchor.
definitely
Yeah.
Spotify and definitely Anchor. So this definitely Spotify and definitely Anchor had it backwards there. But yeah, guys, again, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Earl.
Yes. And this is Jude. Take care.
Yep,
Till
take
next
care
time.
and take care, guys. Peace.
Bye bye.